Get my 6. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the most amazing homesteading channel on the entire internet. It has nothing to do with homesteading off the grid. People say my job is easy. Do you have any idea how hard it is to do that when there's a gnat literally getting ready to enter your eyeball, but you have to hold the pose and say, get my 6 without blinking? Yeah, it's not as easy as you think, brah. So what are we doing today? Potentially looking for the hide and seek world champion. So it's official as of this recording. Yeah. Wow, and there's a tree break right there. Let's go take a look at that. It is officially fall. Today is the first day of fall, 2024. So we're only 1 month away, actually, from the 5-year anniversary of capturing what may or may not have been a Bigfoot Sasquatch on video in October of 2019. Said tree break. And FYI, that video was recorded within a 10-minute walk through the woods of where I am right now. So we are in the realm of Bigfoot Sasquatch. My wife and son are actually with me, but they're way up the trail. Way up there. They're at least half a mile ahead of me. I started seeing some things in here that I wanted to make sure to get on camera, just in case. So I let them go ahead. And then plus, I ran 3 miles this morning while they were sleeping in. So they're on fresh legs, and I'm already cream crackered, as our friends over in England would say. Getting off the trail here to check out a tree break. Look at it. See it right here? Where is it? Yeah. The tree is broken at about 7 or 8 feet up. Healthy tree. And again, it would be odd if it were wind damage because none of the trees around it are broken off like that. And it is a young, supple tree. So there's no decay, no rot. So we're going to mark that as a bona fide tree break. All right, so you know how I roll. It's been a while. Haven't done a lot of these videos regularly lately, but I'm going to today. So if you're new to the channel, here's how it works. I walk through the woods, talk about life, maybe current events, something going on in my personal life, some sort of philosophy, and you watch the background where you may or may not see him, her, it, or they. And no, that's not an NCAA unigender swimmer. That is potentially Bigfoot Sasquatch. So, yeah, and I just say that thing about the swimming because I was watching Riley Raines, the awesome former Division I swimmer who was robbed of being the NCAA Female Athlete of the Year a couple of years ago because they gave it to a different individual who wasn't, well, whatever. Here's what I want to talk about. Yeah, I'm looking all around me because I'm telling you, my spidey senses are up right now. You know that feeling you have when you feel like you're being watched? Well, it's usually because you are, and I'm having that right now. So make sure you're getting my 6. So it's football season. You know, my son plays. He's a quarterback. I coach. I'm an assistant. And we're doing tackle this year. Daniel's transitioned well. We've had 2 games, and we're 2-0. We've won both games. First one, we beat a team that our team hasn't beat in 7 years. We won 13-12. And then last week we played another team. We won 30-2. They scored a safety on us. We held them. Oh, it was so bad. We held them at the 2-inch line. They got 1st and goal from the 2-inch line. Our defensive line held them 4 downs. They never budged. So we took over on downs, and then Daniel pitched it back to a running back who got tackled in the end zone. And so they got 2 points on us. So it's going well. Got another game tomorrow against last year's league champions and against the team that our team did not beat last year. I think we lost to them twice. Again, Daniel and I weren't there yet. We were still doing flag. I love flag football, and that's part of the conversation we're going to have today. Because the conversation really is about life and whether or not we want to participate or whether or not we want to dominate, because there's a difference. Me personally, I'm of the dominate mindset, because I've just always believed that anything worth doing is worth doing well. If I'm going to spend my time and effort, and if it, you know, especially if it requires financial resources, doing anything, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. So why not? Okay, but not everybody thinks that way. I understand that. There's a lot of people that do, and you typically will find these people in athletics, some sort of competitive environment, business, social media, content creators such as myself. So anyway, I had a kid approach me at practice earlier this week, and this brings us to today's topic now that we're 6 minutes into the video. And if you think you see a Bigfoot Sasquatch or anything else weird, make sure to timestamp it. What that means is simply, you know, pause the video and say, okay, at the 8 minutes and 13-second mark, I saw something duck behind that tree. You got to do that so the other folks can go back and look and see, to either confirm or deny what you saw. Oh man. Yeah, I think this is the right trail. We found a geocache thing out here a few years ago. If I pass that, I'll walk out and show it to you. If you don't know what that is, it's like a scavenger hunt. It's a worldwide scavenger hunt. And you go to a website and it'll say, it gives you the coordinates. And then you use your phone to find the coordinates of where that is. And there's just a rock. We actually thought we saw a potential Bigfoot Sasquatch years ago running out past this thing. So I followed it because, yeah, that's how crazy I am. I follow these things. Until I get to I get too close, I'll turn and run, as you know. Everybody's like, why'd you run? You were like right up on it. Why didn't you like shake its hand? Seriously, dude? You don't shake his or their hands. You know how close we've been sometimes? So anyway, yeah, so it ran behind this rock. I was looking around the rock and it was gone, but I found this little Tupperware container with the little sheet in it where you sign your name and date that you found it. It was a geocache thing. So this kid comes up to me and he was so frustrated. And this is because this kid, it wasn't Daniel, it wasn't my son. He's an alpha. And I told him this. I don't know if he's ever heard it. He's 13. He's that guy on the team that can do everything. He backs up quarterback when Daniel needs a break, or there are certain plays designed for this kid to be a quarterback because he can do certain things better than Daniel. Daniel, he's a passer. He's a passing quarterback. He's got a cannon for an arm, and he's accurate. He can throw the ball 40 yards with accuracy, which is, at his age, it's like unbelievable. So, but it's because he does it all the time. We've been playing football out in the field since he was in kindergarten. Like almost every day we go out there and we just pass the ball for an hour or 2 hours. And now he's in 8th grade. So you figure if you do anything consistently for 7 years, you're going to get good at it, right? So really, it's not surprising that he's accurate at 40 yards. There's actually this thing called the rule of 100. And what that is it's 100 hours. And it basically converts to like 8 minutes a day. I might be wrong, I have to do the math. But 100 hours divided by 365 days in a year. It's like 8 or 9 minutes a day. You can take anything, any activity, jumping jacks, skipping rope, roller skating, playing a card game. But if you do that for just 8 minutes a day, every day for a year, that gives you 100 hours throughout that year that you've spent time doing that thing. You'll be better at that than 95% of the human race. It's a true story. It's called the law of 100. It could be running. It could be jogging. You know, if you're not in shape right now and you want to get fit, lose some weight, get healthy, go out and work up to where you can jog for 8 minutes a day. And then, of course, you'll improve and you'll get better. And by the end of a year, you'll be running 10 miles. I promise you that. But you'll be better at running than 95% of the world's population. So this kid comes up to me and he was so frustrated because he's out there at practice. This is one of those guys that gives 100% effort on every drill, every down. Doesn't matter if it's a game, he does it at practice, and the practices are 2 hours long. This kid, at the end of that 2 hour long practice, can barely stand up. Then you got other kids walking around look like they didn't even break a sweat. Guess what? Because they didn't. Why? Because those kids that never even broke a sweat, they're there to participate, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to talk about that too here in a minute, because it's not like that's the enemy of the state, you know, the participants. But that kid that I'm talking about, he's there to dominate. And he's actually better at baseball than he is football, which is because this kid, he can QB, he can be a running back, he can be a receiver. He's middle linebacker on defense. He can read the offense like a book, so he knows what's going to happen. He leads the league in tackles and sacks and touchdowns and interceptions. In last week's game, he got a pick six, intercepted the ball, ran it all the way back for a touchdown. He recovered a fumble, ran it back. He's amazing. So he was frustrated because some of the kids who were on the team to participate, and again, some of them are my favorite kids on the team. I enjoy talking to them. They're good people. I enjoy talking to their parents and grandparents. He was frustrated because they were always going to get water. They were always just kind of hanging around over on the sideline while we're working on certain plays. These are like the backup guys, like the second stringers. Here, no, you're fine. Here comes my family. I'm going to let you guys get ahead of me the other way, and I'm just going to keep on going and keep on talking. I'll catch up to you at some point. Look how tall Daniel is. He's literally as tall as me now. He's bigger than his mom. 13 years old. He's like 5'9", 140.
Hi.
Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm talking about football, buddy. Look, I'm talking about how big you are. Of course, I'm wearing boots. But look at that. We're both standing up straight. I might look a little taller, but he's standing behind me. Stand there. Don't move. Look at that. Wow. And look how tiny she is.
The shorty.
5 foot nothing, 100 nothing pounds, huh?
Okay, I'm gonna keep walking.
All right, I'll turn around here
everybody.
in just a minute, and then I'll catch up with you, huh?
Okay.
See you guys. Love you guys. All right, so yeah, so the alpha, the guy that's there to dominate, was upset that these other guys weren't taking it as seriously as him. And so I kind of pulled him off to the side and talked to him, and I said, listen, you're frustrated right now because you're what's called an achiever, okay? Or an alpha male. You're a natural born leader, and he is. This kid has things that you're either born with or you're not. Now, I'm an avid believer and faithful in hard work. I honestly believe, I know hard work will always beat talent when talented people don't work hard. Seen it enough. My son's a good example of that. There are kids that have more talent than him as a QB, but he's done the work. They haven't, and so he's better. I saw it myself in running and distance running. There were kids that were more talented than me that I beat. I mean, I was a state champion and ran track in college, and it was because I put in the work. So I explained to this kid, you know, you're going to be frustrated your entire life with people who are here to just participate, because people like you, like this kid, are here to dominate. And it is frustrating because it is a team sport and you do rely on your teammates to be successful. I said, but these particular teammates, and again, I'm not knocking these children. That's what they're children. I coach children. I said, look at how much game time they get. He's like, well, yeah, well, they don't get any. And I'm like, well, that's why. Because here at practice, you're out there giving it everything you've got on every single play, every single down, and they're not. They're over there, you know, joking and drinking water and talking about what happened in school today. So I said, but listen, and don't get down on them. That doesn't make them bad people. And I'm going to quote one of my new favorite people, Gabby Thomas. She's a U.S. track star. If you remember this past Summer Olympics, she won the 200-meter gold medal. She was on the 4x100-meter gold medal team. I think she got 4 gold medals. Amazing person. She's beautiful. Went to college at Harvard. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's the world's best athlete at her events. There's something she says repeatedly, and I shared this with this kid, and I shared it with some of the kids, the quote-unquote participants, because they overheard some of this, and they maybe were feeling a little bit bad about it, so I made sure to reassure them. Gabby Thomas says that we're all on our own journey. Now, it might appear as if we're on the same journey because, for example, what is this, grapes? They look like blueberries, but they're wild grapes. We walked under a persimmons tree about an hour ago that had so many persimmons on it. Yeah, they're grapes, but I didn't want to eat them anyway. Never, I don't know. My gosh, there were persimmons all over the ground. I ate like a dozen of them. They were so ripe, so sweet. So anyway, Gabby Thomas says, the thing about our life's journey is that we all get to our destinations in different time frames. You know, and you think there are people who, slipping my mind right now, one of the world's greatest basketball players went into the Air Force for 4 years and then actually made it into the NBA from there. It's an odd journey. You know, but back to the alpha kid. I said, listen, don't hate on those people. They're not bad people. They just don't have the fire in the belly that you have, at least about football. Now, those people might find that they have a fire in the belly about something else somewhere down the road. Maybe it's a different sport. Maybe it's academics. Maybe, they might have a dog that they love that gets hit by a car and they take it to the vet and the vet is able to save that dog's life. And then they might become passionate about becoming a veterinarian, wanting to help animals because that man or woman helped their animal. So we're all on different journeys. We all get to where we're supposed to be at different times and different time frames. So, and I said to him too, now let's say, for instance, some of those people never find a passion. They never get a fire in the belly about anything because sadly, that would describe most people. I said, even then, don't hate on them because you're going to need them to work for your business someday. And he was like, huh? I said, listen, you might not want to hear this because, you know, at 13, you're invincible. You're out there scoring touchdowns. Our athletic careers do come to an end. I mean, I'm 50 now and my athletic career ended almost 30 years ago now. My actual serious competitive athletic career. Even though I did try to get in shape at 28 and train for the Olympic trials, but it just didn't pan out. But that same fire in the belly that I had for my sport of choice, I've had throughout life for everything I've done. And so now, I mean, my business is social media. People are like, what do you do? What's your job? You know, when they ask, well, I'm social media content creator. And for years, that just got me laughed at because people didn't understand that this is quite the industry it is. But now they're like, oh, wow, that's cool. You know, we've got 1.4 million followers and subscribers. Our Sick Twisted Humor Facebook page this morning hit 930,000 followers. We're really excited about that page getting to 1 million, and we're on pace to do it by Halloween. We got 46,500 net new followers just in the last 28 days. So that puts us on pace to be there at Halloween, which is a special time around here on this YouTube channel. But so he's listening to me, and it's like, yeah. So when I told him, when your athletic career is over, whenever that might be, you're going to get into like a, you know, different career, different profession, and it might remain athletics, and then it could be coaching. And I said, and if that's the case, you'll be a very passionate coach, a very effective coach, or you might go into business. And I used the example of the porta potty business. I said, just because it's simple, and there was a porta potty right there outside the stadium. I said, let's say you go into the porta potty business with your fire in the belly, with your passion, with your can-do, I'm going to win attitude. You'll succeed. There might be 10 companies in this county that do porta potties, but you'll be the best. You'll be number one. You'll be the guy with the most contracts. You'll be the guy making the most money. And he's like, looks a little confused. And I says, because of that attitude. You don't do anything half-assed. You come out and give it your all with everything you do. I've gotten off into the woods, so I think I found that geocache location. I want to show you what I was talking about. So he kind of got it, and he was feeling better, and he wasn't giving those other kids down the road so hard anymore. But like I said, a couple of those kids heard that conversation, and one of them said to me in particular, he says, you know, Coach, not all of us are here to play because we want to win championships. Number one, don't let the other coaches hear that. And then he says, you know, some of us do it for different reasons. And I said, yeah, I understand that. I said, what's your reason? And he says, well, I just want to be on the part of the team. And I said, that's a great reason, because there is so much to be said about being on a part of a team. The camaraderie, learning how to work with others. You might end up befriending some people that remain your friends for life, you know. It's a lot of, but I told him, I said, I'm going to caution you about participating, about simply participating. And those kids that were always taking water breaks were there, and they were listening. I had their ears. So I said, you want to make sure that you don't just drift through life just participating. It would be wonderful if at some point you find your thing that you're passionate about, that you're willing to put in the long hours to work at, to become good at, and dominate in that area. You know, and it might be years from now before you find it. And I told him the Gabby Thomas quote, and that really helped them out too. And I warned them. I said, the problem with participating in life, merely as a participant, that's all you do, is when you're old, you'll be bitter. You will be bitter, you'll be miserable, and you'll always look back and wonder what could have been. And they're like, they didn't get that part. So I told them, I said, listen, you know, I see it so much. When you think about some of the most contented people I've met are my age or a little bit older, 60 even, 65. The reason they're content is because they know they've lived a life more than half a century long where they've given it everything they freaking had to give with everything they did. Okay? If they were athletes in their youth, they gave it everything they had. Might not have won any championships, might not have made it to the next level, but they gave it everything they had. So they knew they had nothing left to give, so they're content. They're like, you know what? Gave it all I did. All I had. When they went into business, when they had their families. It's like this. They did like this. I got a wife and a kid. I love coming out, hiking with them, going out and doing stuff. Went into town yesterday to walk around on the downtown mall, get something to eat. And they're in Charlottesville. But if you don't give it your all, and so now I think of some of the most discontented, literally bitter people I know. 50 plus, 60-ish plus, 70 plus. These people participate in life. That's all they do. They just participate. And they wake up one day and the clock's getting ready to hit 60 years old, and they look around and they realize, wow, I haven't really accomplished anything. What more could I have done? And on top of that, if they were stupid with money, if they didn't plan well financially, a lot of them are broke. Could you imagine being 60 and broke? Because you just never, you just participated. Oh, here's my paycheck. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to pay the bills and we'll get a little bit left over. Let's go out for some cheeseburgers and a movie. But you never took the time to sit back and say, okay, wait a minute. I need to prepare for my future. I need to plan. I better start either educating myself on investing or maybe hire a professional. And, you know, this $50 or $100 this week that I've got left over from my paycheck, I need to put that somewhere so that when I'm 60, I actually have something. But so many people just participated through life. They never they never made an attempt to dominate at anything. And so now they're old and they're bitter. Look at this. There's a tree break. See it? Yep, right there. Ironically, right here beside the rock, I found it where the... Did you hear that? I saw something here a couple of years ago that ran through the woods. This is how I found the geocache. Look. It says... official geocache, please do not remove. Okay, well, I'm not going to take it with me. I'm just going to show you what's in it. Look. So people will hide these all over the place. When you open it up, look what's in here. They'll leave little trinkets like goodies. What's that? Marriott Hawaii keychain? What do we got in there? Can you see? It's like Legos, a poker chip, some stickers, and then I'm trying to do this with one hand. Forgive me for this, people. There's this list. And look at all these different people who have found it. That's a list of people who've played this geocache game. They've signed it. And we always forget to bring a pen. Let's see. I don't have my, well, I do have my old man reading glasses. They're in my pocket. So the last person to sign this was, can't read the date. Well, okay. November 4th, 2023 was the second to last. That's the only one I can read. I can't read the one below that. So that's been almost a year. But the beginning, the original, was July 28th, 2013 at 10:30 a.m. Isn't that neat? So this thing has been out here for 11 years. 11 years. And I found it because I was out here hiking one day and I saw something large and dark and on two legs run through the woods, cross the trail, and I followed it out here and it disappeared behind this rock. And then I saw this thing just underneath the rock, which happened to be this geocache thing. So isn't that neat? Sometimes when you go Bigfoot Sasquatch hunting, you find other things as well. Put the lid on. We'll make sure that everything in there stays dry. Look at that. And you just stick it right back under there. See that? All right. So I'm going to wrap this up because I'm going to have to pick up my pace to catch up to my family. They're probably somewhere either 2 miles ahead of me or they're somewhere getting frustrated waiting on me. And as I walk out of here, I'm making sure to watch the ground because it is yellow jacket season. They are harbingers of hell. And they're everywhere this time of year. So, as an older guy, somebody now that's been around for half a century, I realize that really one of the best parts about having shown up to dominate rather than to just participate is that I have no regrets. Yeah, it was great winning the state championship. It was great getting to go to college on the scholarship, you know, for track. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to go. I mean, and I did have to take out some student loans after my track career ended. But I wouldn't have been there in the first place. So I got an education out of it. Kind of like with business and work. We're doing very well. We're doing very well. I don't like to use numbers because it's arrogant for one thing. And it's nobody's business. But I'll tell you, I make more money monthly on social media, and I have for years, than I used to make in an entire year for my first couple of years out of college. And I was a stockbroker. I mean, I wasn't making minimum wage. So, and it's not because I'm so good. It's because I simply am willing to do the work that other people are not willing to do. Take, for example, YouTube or say a Facebook page. People will start this and they'll make 40 or 50 videos and then they don't get what they need to be monetized. Like they don't have the subscriber count. They don't have the watch time. So what do? Well, they'll do one of two things. Most of them, as in like 95% of them, they just quit doing it. And they say, well, you know, it's too late. Social media is so old and it's so, you know, super saturated, and it is super saturated. I think there's something like 5 billion YouTube channels or something. It's crazy. So they start saying all these other reasons, factors are why they're not successful. They never got monetized, so they just stop. And then they'll say guys like me got lucky. Or I've had people tell me that, you know, I'm lucky there's so many stupid people in the world who believe in Bigfoot, who are willing to watch my videos just to see if they can see one. Whatever. No, I'm successful because I was willing to make 600 YouTube videos before I ever got monetized. And that is a true story. I was willing to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and make sure to film 3 YouTube videos before leaving at 8 a.m. to go work at the post office and deliver mail 12 hours a day. Did this for 6 months. Make 3 videos. My wife dearly would upload them and publish them during the day while I was out delivering mail. And we finally, it was literally 600 videos before we got monetized. We finally got monetized. We went viral. I was able to leave the post office and do this. I've done this full time for like, well, I mean, I've been doing it for 14 years, but there's been times I've had to step away and do other things because this just wasn't working. But I never gave up on it and said, oh, the people it's working for, they got lucky and I didn't. No. It's that fire in the belly that I've had, and this is back to this kid. And I was telling him, and I talked to him off and on throughout the week, on game day. It's a tenacity that successful people have that unsuccessful people don't. And I'm telling you, I can look around and anything can happen. And I'm not trying to, pin either a bright future or a doomy gloomy future on anybody when they're that age, when they're young. But I can look around and I see the kids I know. Some of them, this kid I've coached for years on different teams, and I hope to coach him this winter in basketball. I know when I'm an old man and they're wheeling me into the hospital for some medical procedure, that kid's probably going to be my doctor. And ironically, I asked him recently what he wants to be when he grows up, and he said a doctor. And I have already been seeing that with this guy. I mean, you can see it. And then I see some that are just going to be lifelong participants. I hope that, some of them come from pretty well-to-do families where the ability for them to be cared for is probably always going to be there. And that's wonderful because I think it's great when everybody has their needs met. But it's especially wonderful for some of these people because I just don't think they have what it takes to go out there and meet their own needs. Now, maybe it would be different if they weren't so privileged. It makes a difference. When you're the one that actually has to go out there and do the work to make sure you eat, you might be more willing to go out there and do the work so that you can eat than you are if that's not required of you. If you have, say, if you come from a family with money, or you have trust funds, which is the same thing kind of, or if you have a partner, say it's a spouse, girlfriend, wife, husband, boyfriend, who is willing to work so that you don't have to, so you can stay home. And I know there's people like that out there, and their needs are met by that through the efforts of others. That's great. But for those of us who show up to dominate, not just participate, we would never accept that for ourselves. And it's those of us who provide the economic opportunities for the participants. Like I was telling the guy, got a hole in that tree. It's kind of creepy, no? Yeah, so anyway, been going on for over 30 minutes. Really got to wrap this up. So if you saw anything, make sure to timestamp it. Hope you got something out of this. Yes, it is official. It's the first day of fall. And listen, never give up. Even if you're older now, if you're older than me, which 74% of you who watch these videos are, because I understand my business. I check the analytics throughout the day, daily. It's not luck. It's understanding the business you're in. And I completely understand social media. That's why, here's what people don't get. And I talk to my wife about this all the time. Everybody thinks when you work in social media, you either make millions and millions and millions of dollars a year like Mr. Beast, or you make nothing. Isn't this a beautiful stream? There's a lot of fish right there. They're just little minnows, but they're fish and they're beautiful. Okay, so it's this concept: you either make millions a year like Mr. Beast, millions a month like Mr. Beast, or you make nothing. No. I don't know how many of us there are, but there are tons of us who make hundreds of thousands, $500,000, more than $250,000, less than $1 million. Okay, I'm keeping a wide range. I'm in that range, and there's probably hundreds of thousands of us out here who are doing it. And listen, you could be one of them. You just can't take it as, well, I'm not as good looking as him. Hey, who is? I mean, most people aren't as good looking as me, brah. Okay? Well, I just can't talk as well as him. Come on. I used to speak Hispanics. I'm from Appalachia. I had to kind of learn how to speak English correctly. You can do it. Anybody can do it. I'm going to give you an example. I was on Facebook this morning uploading posts for the Sick Twisted Humor page. And something came across my thread. It was recommended to me. It was a Facebook page called The Hillbillies. And there was a guy, some white dude, probably 40-ish, scruffy, looks like he could use a shave. It was just a reel. I think he said something to the effect, if you don't like what I post, you got 3 options. I just heard a growl. I'm hearing voices. And it's not my family. So make sure you're getting my 6. So anyway, this guy says, if you don't like what I post, you got 3 options. You can scroll, you can ignore it, you can scroll, or you can just leave my page. I don't care. So anyway, it's called The Hillbillies. That's all it was. And that reel had over 300,000 views. So he probably made $150, $200 off of it. Yeah, I mean, that's actual. I'll make a reel. I made one yesterday that's got 1.5 million views. It's made $500. That's 1 out of 10 reels. Do the math, folks. So it's him, his wife, and they got 2 adorable little kids, a little boy and a little girl. And they just like randomly record stuff that their family does throughout the day. Exactly like what we do. I guarantee you, those people, they've got 1.3 million followers on their Facebook page. I'm almost at 1 million. They got more than me. I guarantee you they're making $25,000, $30,000 a month. Just because I know the way the math works, I know the numbers, that's what they're making. Maybe a little bit more than that. There's nothing exceptional about them, and I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I'm not saying that to insult them. They look like wonderful people, but they look just like normal, ordinary, everyday, average people. But they understand the opportunity that social media gives them, gives me, gives you watching to go out there and just showcase your life, do what it is that you enjoy doing, upload it a few times a week, and you never have to have a real job again. It's crazy. But again, 95% of the people in the world won't even make an effort, or they'll make a minimal effort and then they'll stop before the magic happens. And then they'll say people like those people and like me got lucky. There's stupid people dumb enough to watch what it is that we film about. No, it's because we were willing to do the work. You weren't. Okay. It's like 3%ers. You ever heard of the 3%ers? Did you know 3% of the world's population controls 97% of the wealth? And it's the other 97% of the population that's fighting over the remaining 3%. They're like chickens. You go out and feed chickens. You got 20 chickens. You throw food. All 20 chickens go to where you just threw the food. Well, you take another handful of feed. You throw it over there. All 20 chickens run over there. Because they got such small brains. It's like, oh, that's all there is. I better go get it. Well, there's some over there not even making an effort to get it. People are the same way. So anyway, that's it. It's a long enough video. Go out there and dominate. Don't just participate. Find something you enjoy. Be good at it. Do it 10 minutes a day, every day for a year, and you'll be better than 95% of the human race at that thing that you're doing. Showcase it on social media. Do it enough, frequently enough. Get monetized. Build an audience. Hey, you get some supplemental income in retirement, or maybe you can walk away from your job you hate that makes you miserable, like I did with the post office. So, at any rate, thanks for being with me here at the most amazing homesteading channel on the planet. It has nothing to do with homesteading. Hope you got something out of it. Homesteading off the grid.